So, hi guys, JoAnne Hamberg with the Real Estate Exchange, and I am so excited and thrilled to have my friend and my coach, my right hand at many cases when I have questions, and I can call him and bug him and say, "What do you think of this, Rick?" My friend Rick Fuller from California. Rick, tell us a little bit about your company and your experience. Everybody would love
Well,
to hear.
yeah, Joanne, thanks for having me on the call. Welcome, everybody. Joanne, we've been through it, haven't we? I mean, we've been through everything together and a completely different coast. My real estate offices are on the West Coast. We have offices throughout the Bay Area in San Francisco County and Sacramento County. We have a mortgage insurance company, real estate licensing school, construction company, all of it synergized in our real estate business. And Joanne, you and I met several years ago, I think on some video that I had put out on YouTube or something. And our relationship just kicked off. And it's really truly been like iron sharpening iron. You've sharpened me. I've hoped to sharpen you, like we've worked together. And I'm super excited to be on this podcast with you. I think we've got a lot of great information. I think we got enough history and experience together to really give some clarity for agents that are really struggling and want to grow and want to develop their business and want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and this is where coaching, and people think of coaching and they think, oh, someone is going to tell you what to do and how to do it. But no, it's brainstorming, it's working it
Yeah,
back and forth. And, you take what you want, you leave the rest, because obviously not everything you do, I do, and you don't do
right.
everything I do. So it's nice to just have that other person or persons to talk to and discuss things with. And, I've been through the ICC coaching, which I think is fantastic. And
Yeah.
everybody should look into it. But so you had talked a little bit about the three pillars that real estate agents need. And how has that evolved over time? And what would you explain as the three pillars that you think most real estate agents should be, looking at doing?
Yeah, Joanne, it's the most important thing. It's not a thing, it's the thing. And in my experience, real estate has become the great distraction. Like we got all these things that are distracting for our time and our attention, but there's only three things that matter, Joanne. And anything that pulls you, especially if you're just building your business, you don't have a team yet, you don't got administrative assistants or other agents, or if you're at that stage where you're heavy in production, there's only three things you should be doing, need to do. And until those three things are done, nothing else matters. And the problem with the business and the industry that we have today is there's so many distractions. Social media can become a rabbit trail. You and I've talked about that. Even trying to watch more videos and YouTube and daily activities and email, it can all be a distraction that pull you away from these three things. And those who do these three things win in business. They're top producers, and those who don't do these three things, well, they struggle and they tend to live paycheck to paycheck, commission to commission. So should we share the three things, Joanne, or should we just leave it
I
there?
suppose. Yes, definitely.
And you know what they are. First off, if you desire to be a successful real estate agent, you should not have a to-do list. You heard me say that right. You should not have a to-do list. You should have a not to-do list. You should not do anything but these three things. And until these three things are done, you should not go home for the day. You should not go on to other projects. You should not go to anything else. Like these are the three. And here they are. Without further ado, number one, you have to generate new customers. And Joanne, you and I define a customer as a name, a phone number, an email address, want to buy now or in the near future, have not or are not an agent. It actually quantifies what a customer is. It's not a lead. It's not a prospect. It's not someone I hope to meet. It's not a contact. No, it's a customer. It's somebody who name, phone number, email, want to buy now or in the near future, have not or are not an agent. That makes them a customer. Number two, Joanne, and the second pillar, they have to convert those customers to clients. And the NAR settlement has underscored that. The $418 million NAR settlement in August of 2024 said you need to have seller listings and you need to have buyer listings. You need to have seller clients and you need to have buyer clients. You can no longer work with buyer customers. So customers need to become clients, and you need to do that whether you're working with buyer customers or seller customers. You need to have a client, and then clients need to become contracts, And contracts need to lift contingencies, and contingencies need to lead to a closing, and closing needs to lead to repeat customers. And you're busy on that process. You're not a home run hitter, you're a base hitter. You're just trying to move contacts to customers, customers to clients, clients to contract, contracts to contingencies, and contingencies to close. And the third thing you have to do, the third pillar that creates a stable foundation for your business, is you've got to deliver a great experience to the consumer today. JoAnne, you and I live in a consumer transparent world. It's like in front of our office or your metaphorical office, if you're working from home, it's like there's a whiteboard and people can write whatever they want on this whiteboard. True, not true, accurate, not accurate. It doesn't matter. They can write on your whiteboard and you can do nothing about it. New people will come to your metaphorical business. They will see that whiteboard of what people wrote about their experience with you. And if it's not good, they'll U-turn. So you have to be intentional about your reviews. You have to be intentional about your customer's experience. To grow big, you got to think small about each and every customer that you have and the kind of experience. And when you do this, and you've been at this for 30 plus years, you have this amazing thing that resurfaces, and it's referrals and then repeat clients. And then repeat clients lead to generational clients. Like, yeah, that's our generational agent. He helps my mom, he helps my dad, he helps my kids, he helps my grandparents, my aunts, uncle.
Mhm.
Like you're just the realtor that everyone uses in that family. And those are the three pillars. And until those things are done in a day, then your day's not over. And if they can be done by noon, then go home at noon. And you don't have to work a weekend or an evening. You got to get those three things done. It's not about how much you do, it's what you do in the time that you have.
And being consistent with it. I mean,
Yeah.
just to do it once and forget about it, it doesn't work. You need to just continually make yourself, this is what I'm doing today, and these are the people I'm calling, and this is how I'm working it. It's really consistency. Being consistent and doing it on a regular basis will grow your business. You know,
Joanne, you're right. And if you
absolutely.
think about how, like, if we were just completely honest and transparent, would we hire us? Or if you're an agent, would you hire yourself to work for you? Like when you look at your calendar and what you do and the activity, like would you as an employer be pleased with you as an employee? And if the answer is no, I'm just not as productive, and then that's what you got to fix. And those are the three things you have to put in your calendar. And until those three things are done each week, you can't move on to anything else.
And looking at real estate as this is your business. This is your
Yeah,
business. You're an independent contractor. This is your
that's right.
business. You need to put the effort in for yourself
That's
so
right.
that you can grow your business. You can't depend on the company, which hopefully, new agents would get with a company that will support them and, help them learn how to do social media marketing and all these things. But, you know, being consistent and realizing that this is your business and treating it like a business, like a job, and being there every day, not just, oh, I'll go sell real estate today.
Yeah, no employee, no employer hires an employee and says, "Well, show up whenever you want." And then when you
Mhm.
get here, do whatever you want. And it doesn't matter if we produce a result, just come in and hang out. And I call it water cooler time, right? Hang out at the water cooler or, get distracted on Netflix or whatever it is your thing. Take the rabbit trail on YouTube and watch a bunch of YouTube videos, like whatever it is your thing. No employer hires anybody with that job description. And if that's your job description, you ought to fire yourself and you ought to hire yourself back again with the right job description, which are the three things we gave you.
Yeah. And like that's just keeping up. So the most common pitfalls that you would say with an agent, a new agent coming on, is knowing where to start. And
Yeah.
what would you, I mean, suggest that they look for in a real estate company? I mean, I would think, an agent coming on that just recently got licensed is going to want to try to find a company that will be there to support them, like we said, and show them their way through the process. Is there anything special you think that they should look for when they're starting out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you're on it. But I'll tell you, and I look for mentors in my life. You never stop doing that. You're always learning from others. Success leaves clues. But I'm looking to, is that leader of that company, do they have what I want? Do they have the kind of business that I want? Do they have the kind of life that I want? Do they kind of have the kind of results or sales that I want? Do they operate in a moral, ethical environment like I want? That stuff really matters. And as you're looking for a broker that, like, do they live up to those ethical standards that you believe in? And can they help you generate more business? And this is what, honestly, this is why you didn't ask me to say this. This is why I love your team. Because JoAnne, you are that example. I mean, you've been doing this for 30 years. You've got incredible clients. They're from all over, all different demographics, all different kinds of properties. And your new agents come and they join the real estate exchange and they get a chance to learn from how you do business. And how you do business today wasn't what you did 35 years ago when you started. And it's the same with me. And so you got to look for a company like that. Then I think you got to look for a company that helps you keep the main things the main things. We already talked about the main things.
Yep.
But you'll have companies, JoAnne, that'll say, I want you to go to this and I want you to do that and read this and watch this. And all of it is a distraction. And our problem today is we are a distracted group of agents. And if we can just get focused, laser focused on the things that matter, major in the majors, we win. Get distracted on the minors, you lose.
You have a great picture that you use with the baseball field that shows the
Yeah.
different steps from customer to client, to, which I think is really helpful for many agents to kind of like see the whole steps of the process. Um, and on another note, what do you think about technology now? Like, there's a lot of agents with new technology, and now we have Chat GPT and AI, or there's so much that what do you find that's been the best technology or marketing things that you guys have used to help grow your business?
Yeah, JoAnne, I had the privilege of spending time with both of my grandparents before they passed on. And I asked them one question, both. And I said, my grandfathers, and I said, what's the one thing in your life that's changed the most in your lifetime? And I have good genes. They both lived into their 90s, and they both came back almost immediately. They said, technology has been the biggest change. I mean, you got to think, they went from no TV to the black and white TV to the TV that's in the palm of your hand, right? Like they went from the books were in the library to now any book you want to listen to, you can watch, you can read. It's like all in the palm of your hand and it's on your watch or whatever. And agents that avoid technology are going to be agents that are unemployed. That the leverage, so Chat GPT, Perplexity, Google Gemini, all of the tools and resources that exist today, they're not going away. I mean, if you're just like waiting for the day to come back when like, we can just go back to there's no technology and you pull out the paper day timer
The
and all of
MLS
that
book
stuff.
and
Yeah, the MLS book, it doesn't go back. That's how technology works. It advances forward. But if you also think that technology will replace you as an agent, somehow this technology is going to replace you as an agent, you're mistaken there too. What it's going to do is going to empower you as an agent. Technology will empower you. So, JoAnne, even when you and I first started working together several years ago, we were hiring people sooner than what you would need to hire them today. Because today we would empower every marketer and every assistant and every agent with technology. And that technology, let's say ChatGPT, would become their assistant to a certain level. And
Mhm.
we would be able to engage at that level earlier and get more out of them, and they would be more successful as a result of being empowered by technology. So it's not going to replace you, but it's also not going away. You have to be empowered by technology. I don't know how the agent of the future makes it, JoAnne, without technology. I mean, you and I do a lot on AI. You and I talk a lot about Chat GPT and all the different AI products out there, and they're now multiplying over and over again. Can you imagine an agent producing the same amount as an agent that is empowered with technology and with artificial intelligence? There's no way.
And I think, like you're saying, that personal touch is the most important thing.
It is.
Technology is great, and you can't be a secret agent. So you need to embrace all the different social media accounts. Um, Not be afraid to be in front of the
That's right.
camera, which, believe me, this is not my favorite thing to do, but it's what I do. I mean, and you got to get yourself out there and let people know who you are. And again, you can't be a secret agent, but you need to be personable and you need to take care of your client first. That's the most important thing. If you take care of the client, the rest will come because they'll send you referrals. You'll take care of their family. I have
Yeah.
multiple generations like you, Rick, that I'm sure that you've served in home sales, and I think, oh my God, the next grandchildren, I don't know if I'll be here for them, but
Yeah.
somebody from my team will be. So really, don't be a secret agent. Don't be afraid of technology, and don't be
That's right.
afraid to get out there and put yourself
But
out a
you,
little bit.
going back to your previous question, you
Mm,
got to be in an environment that understands that. And there's a lot of brokerages that are still like they're resistant to technology. Like they got an anchor they're dragging behind them. They got their boots dug in. They don't want to have anything to do with technology and understand you're on the wrong side of history. Technology
yeah,
is growing and it's advancing and it's multiplying, and you got to be a student of it.
a
And you
lot.
talked about, I remember when we first started working together, JoAnne, and how reluctant you were to do video. And we kept saying, you got to do video, and you got to do video.
Now I do
And
lots
now
of
I see
video.
you all over video and commercials and YouTube and Facebook and what I think you and I have come to understand is that the lowest common denominator, remember in your math class, are like, what's the lowest common denominator? The lowest common denominator in real estate. The bottom line is as simple as when people think of real estate, do they think of you? And today they don't pack their mailbox around with them. Today they don't carry postcards around with them. You know what they do? They carry their phone and they jump on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and they scroll. And here, JoAnne, yeah, they're on their phone and whatever the platform is, and it's constantly evolving. I'm working with this very young influencer on TikTok, and he's not even, he wouldn't even consider having a Facebook profile.
I
And he,
believe
he
it.
doesn't even have Instagram. That's how far it's moving. We always think about like Facebook and then it's like the younger
Mm.
audience is Instagram. He's on TikTok and he's doing incredible. He's got like hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok. Here's my point. Whatever platform you're going to use, and you got to use them all, when people think of real estate, do they think of you? And that's what these platforms, you don't have to sell. You got to be authentic. You got to be real. You got to be genuine. Don't be putting out video every time trying to sell stuff. It's a left jab, right jab, left jab. Then it's a right hook. Before you ever make a call to action on any type of social media, like you have to build that street cred, that authenticity. It's social. That means they come there to be social. They did not come to be sold anything. You can imagine in a traditional like networking environment, the very first thing that somebody says is, "Are you ready to buy a product? Or are you ready to sell a product?" Like if that's the first conversation you have at a chamber mixer or something like that, like you're avoiding that person. And that's exactly what happens on social media. People get avoided because they're constantly selling. It's about building credibility, it's about building followership, and it's about when people think of real estate, do they think of you?
And that's the bottom line, really. Just being out there, be consistent, make sure that you're always putting out new content and letting people
Yeah.
know that you're here to help them, not
Yeah.
just sell them. Excuse me. This stupid
Bless
cold.
you.
I didn't know how I was going to get through today. Um, how important do you feel community involvement is? A
I
lot of
think it,
agents.
mhm, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, we've gotten a lot more involved with, like some of the local churches with fundraising
Yeah.
things, the Alzheimer's. We try to, you know, be involved with the community. How important do you feel that is?
I think it's critically important. It's the great gift to our industry. You represent your community, your HOA, your neighborhood, your city, your county, whatever it is. We get to be advocates of it, and we get to be a part of those community events. And I really struggled with this, if I could be completely transparent with you, JoAnne, early on, because we've worked with
Mhm.
foster kids and homeless kids. We've raised millions of dollars for kids. And my struggle was this: I didn't want people thinking I was doing these things to sell more real estate, right? Like I wanted to do them because they were the right thing to do and they were good for the community. But then I also knew that if I did stuff like that, I built relationships with the people of the community, then I would have these relationships and people would want to buy and sell real estate. And so there was this tug of war. And here's what I came up with: that being a part of your community is not mutually exclusive. Like it's not one way or the other. It's both and. I can be a part of my community. I can give, I can serve, I can participate, I can sponsor, I can fundraise, and I can do it with a pure heart, and I can do it with the right motives, and I can do that. And at the same time, I can grow my real estate business. And then here's where it evolved for me. The more I grew my real estate business, guess what? I had more time and money and resources to give to those organizations. And it just kind of built it just kind of stepped up, stepped up, stepped up. And so what I realized is they're not mutually exclusive. And when you start thinking that way, and you realize by doing good for my community, I'm doing good for my business. And by doing good for my business, I'm doing good for the community, it begins to change your paradigm. And the next thing you know, you got people who will join your organization, join your team, join your brokerage, and say, I want to do what you're doing. I want to make a difference in my community. I got into real estate because I wanted to make a difference in my community. I get to be an advocate of my neighborhood and community. Why wouldn't I do these things? So if I could, the simplest way I can say it is that it is about both and, not either or. And when you do that, you really grow a strong, healthy business. And honestly, you make a great deal of difference in the community that you serve.
It's a great opportunity to make more friends. It feels good.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a veterans walk. We do all kinds of different like events like
Yeah.
that. And it's just, you're
We
out there
both
with
give
other
pies away
people.
at
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. People would say,
pies,
uh,
pumpkins,
yeah,
so many
pies,
different things.
pumpkins. I know you do Santa Claus. Like, and you can have people
Yeah.
that say, do you do that to generate business? Well, I do generate business. Or do you do that, do you create your business so that you have the resource to do that? No, it's both. They both exist. And the more good I do in the community, the more good I do for my business. And frankly, last I checked, both you and I pay business taxes and business licensing fees. And we sponsor different things in our communities for the schools and the fundraisers and the churches you referenced. And when we do that, it requires a successful, profitable real estate business. Profit is not a bad word. And it's one that you and I and those who are listening to this today ought to make sure they're generating profit so that they could build a successful business so it helps successfully fund your community as well.
So on a different note, on a someone who has a sale, do you have like a percentage that you think that they should reinvest back into themselves, into their business for marketing and to improve their visibility? I mean, there's so many free things. Like you said, a lot of the social media stuff is free, which is awesome. Um, and I use a lot of our, events that we do, like we had a trunk or treat, mainly to give back to our clients because they're so good to us by sending us referrals and their friends and family, and we're constantly trying to give back. Is there a percentage that you kind of think about? Like, do you say, if you made X amount, try to put 10% back into your business? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, maybe I'll tell you just a quick story. I'm a student of the industry. I love our business. I think our jobs, JoAnne, and those that are in the real estate business, I literally think we have the best jobs on the planet. I mean, we
I
really
agree.
help provide people homes. Uh, it help create what nothing creates greater wealth than real estate. And when you're on vacation and you come home on that threshold, and suitcase bumps over into your entryway, you just have a totally different feeling. And you and I create that, right? And all your memory backdrops are about home. So with all that being said, I just love real estate. I'm listening to these guys on a podcast. It's a son, a father, a grandfather. Somebody calls in and says, "Hey, I know you guys invest in real estate all over the world, and I have $5,000. Where should I invest that $5,000? Now, I'm driving and I almost pull over the car because I want to hear this guy's response. I mean, like this gets down to the meat and potatoes of it. And I could picture everybody who's listening to this podcast get to the edge of their seat. And the father says, "Hey, grandfather, why don't you take that one?" So we're getting straight wisdom, right? Like pure 100 proof wisdom here. And grandfather says, if I had $5,000 to invest in my business today, in my real estate business, I would invest in my education. And I think that that is the best way I can answer your question, that you are always a student, you are always investing. The percentage changes over time. We could break it down by education. We could break it down by what we give to the communities. We could break it down to, how much you pay in salaries and marketing. And you and I've done all of that, rent. But I think the principle is that you have to reinvest back. The amazing thing about real estate, it's the truest form of entrepreneurship of any business that exists today. Like whatever you put into it is what you get out of it. You don't put anything into it, you get nothing out of it. The amazing thing about real estate is the more I learn and the more value I bring, the more I earn. There's a direct proportion. And I always use this example that if you and I wanted to meet with a financial advisor today and you reached out to a bunch of them and told them that you're the CEO of the real estate exchange, I'd like to meet with a financial advisor, they'd probably all take you out to lunch today. They'd probably all take you to the nicest restaurant in your community. They're going to pull out their company cards so that they could talk to you about finances. And yet, if you and I wanted to meet with Warren Buffett today for lunch, you might have to write a $100,000 check. You might have to write a seven-figure check. What's the difference between all the financial advisors and Warren Buffett? It's what he knows, and you're willing to pay it. And so the more you learn, the more you earn. And your ability to invest in yourself and bring more value to your consumers and your clients, literally the more you will earn in this industry. And it's one of the things that we're starving. We got a lot of entertainment. We don't have a lot of education. Like we got big arms because we're heavy lifting and trying to be busy and trying to do all these things. And
Mm-hmm.
we got tiny heads because we're not learning how to better serve our clients, how to provide better solutions. And I don't mean always about lead generation. I mean, like the practical aspects about business and investing in real estate and creating wealth through real estate and real estate ownership. And that's a whole industry in amongst itself. But even your first time home buyer is a real estate investor.
Oh,
Even your
yeah,
move up
absolutely.
buy is a real estate investor. Your person that buying your mobile home and your mobile home park's a real estate investor. And so
They're
your
investing in their
ability,
future.
yep, and your ability to be that guide, like, you know, we've always talked about in our process, we have to change the way we think. We're not the hero of the story, we're the guide. Make the consumer the hero, make that first time home buyer the hero, make your investor the hero, but you're the guide. You're the one that's leading and guiding the way. And when you do that, this is why I go to a real estate agent's website. You know what I see? I see 1,000 pictures of them. And I think they've mistaken. They think they're the hero of the story. Hire me, I'm the best. Well, people aren't hiring you because you are incredible. They're hiring you because you make them incredible. You're not the hero of the story, you're the guide. I'm going to help you be successful in real estate. I'm going to help you be successful in investing. I'm going to help you be successful in sending your kids through college with passive income through rental investments. You're not the hero, you're the guide. When you change your viewpoint and your perspective that way, it all begins to change. This is why I moved all the pictures of me off my website and all these different platforms. And they're all pictures of my clients succeeding and they got big smiles on their faces and they're waving keys and they're rolling little roller cars all over the floor because they're just excited to have won. And I was the guide.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, your clients rely on you. So educate
Yeah.
yourself. That's the best investment you can make is in yourself. Audio books, find a coach. If anyone's interested in ICC training, they have a great program, and I'm not here to promote them or sell them,
Yeah.
but I'm thrilled with their education and what they have to offer. And, Rick, you've been a real asset to me in my life. And Brian and all the guys. I mean, we've
Yeah,
enjoyed a lot of good times together. So
we
I
have.
really appreciate your time. Um, I think that's pretty much it. We're out of time, but do you have anything you wanted to add?
I'll just wrap it up with this. Friends, we live in the best era to sell real estate. Nothing has created greater wealth than real estate. You and I have the privilege to provide home, not a house, a home to a client. Don't underestimate that. Realize the value of what you do. You create generational wealth with real estate. You create security with real estate. Like
Purity.
that's
Yeah.
our, you create the background, the virtual background, if you will, in their mind of all the birthday parties and all the Christmas and all the Easters and all the Super Bowl parties or whatever. Like you create that background. That's the job we have. And that's why I say you and I have the best job and we live in the best time to do this job. And nothing's created greater wealth and nothing provides greater stability than home ownership. And we ought to be yelling this from the rooftops. We ought to be waving a banner in the street that says home ownership. And that's the privilege that you and I get. And so you guys are doing an amazing job at the real estate exchange. It's been an honor to be with you. Anytime you want to have me back, just text me and I'll jump on because there's so much we didn't cover.
Oh, I
But I
know we
think
could talk for hours, Rick,
the
but it's a
stuff we
good
did, I
start.
hope was of value to those that are listening today.
If someone wanted to reach out to you, what would be the best way for them
Oh
to
yeah, they
connect
they
with you,
can
Rick?
connect with me on any social media channel at connectwithrickfuller.com. That's connectwithrickfuller.com. And if you want to go to our website, kind of see what I was talking about earlier, you can just go to rickfuller.com and just reach out to me there. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have on any social media platform you prefer.
Thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate your time. Have a
Yeah.
great week. We'll see you
See you,
again.
JoAnne.
Bye
Bye,
now.
everybody.
Thank you.